Alright there, folks. I am back with another tutorial video. This one, they're all for Grand Tactician Civil War. This one is on infantry. The first one was on the order of battle and the deployment phase, which is usually present at a battle. What I did not do, and what I will do now, is how do you start this thing? In this bottom right-hand corner, right, it's kind of like your remote at home. Right, you pause, you play regular speed, or you can fast forward at various speeds. So to get out of deployment phase and actually get the battle underway, we'll press play. The battle's going to start. But this is not about battles so much as this is about the infantry. So we're going to pause it, and we're going to take a look at infantry, as infantry really do matter a great deal, probably of all the branches. It's going to be the one that decides a lot of your fights, and there's a lot to know. The way I've organized this army under Johnston, he has 3 separate divisions. One is a cavalry division under Stewart. The other is the artillery division under Cooper, and then it'll be Raines's infantry division. I haven't always done it this way, but this is the way I'm generally organizing my armies in this campaign, and so here we are. A lot of information. Remember, in the first video, I put these guys into breastworks and these guys into parapets, and then this is just our other infantry that's under Raines's division. At the HQ level, at the infantry HQ level, there are going to be different options for how we form things, and then if we click on each brigade, there are additional options specifically just for that group. So at the HQ level, this is the infantry division level, and again, remember, 3 stars are the superiors to the 2 stars. Right? 2 stars are their subordinates, and then the 2 stars are directly commanding each of those units that have lines directly to them. At the HQ level, what we could do is we could change the overall orientation of the army. This is probably something that's better done in the deployment phase, but these things do matter. If I know I'm going to be moving the force long distances, I've gotten in the habit where I will start to put them into march columns so that I think they march quicker, and they use up less stamina. They're less tired when they arrive wherever they want to be. And for me, being very, very basic in this game, it's pretty much for me either march column or single line. And what's nice is that in this game, when you pretty much stop over anything, if it needs to be explained, it will be explained. Again, this game, you can play it pretty simply, or you can really dig into it. I try to avoid melee like the plague. And so I don't put people on attack columns. The double line is the only other one I might consider. But to me, I'd rather maximize the firepower. You know, double line and even successive line. This feels like you're fighting the enemy piecemeal. And I wouldn't be interested in doing that. I'm kind of that believer in concentrating whatever force you have, particularly against maybe an isolated part of the enemy's army. We'll talk about that stuff later. But anyways, you could choose these formations, and it would change how each of the units align together. So that's that. And you can see if you click on the so what I did accidentally there is I clicked on one of the battalions itself. Actually, I think they're brigades, not battalions. Artillery is battalions. If you click on the individual unit, you only get 3 options, right? Attack column, form square. I should use this, but cavalry don't really charge at this moment when you're playing against the AI. Or just a single line. For now, they're in double. I'll see what happens. I'm actually kind of interested to see what happens. And while this is going on, we can see that some other things are going on. So notice that when the order was given, these arrows start flowing from the top HQ down to the other one. There's really nothing that you need to do about this. As long as that is going on, it's telling you that the order is being transmitted. And look at that sprite. That's your messenger on horse. So again, the closer you are, the less far the messenger has to go. So it's going to come into Rains's HQ from Albert Sidney Johnston's, the Army commander, to the division commander. And then he immediately turned around, very good reaction time, and he is now transmitting that order to each of those brigades. All right, we'll see what happens there. So that is one thing you can do at the divisional level. I think because that order is being transmitted, this is currently grayed out. We cannot change the formation. And again, those are the sprites that are carrying orders, I guess, to their destination. Looks like he's going for the river. All right. And I assume that once those brigades get their orders and start doing things, yeah, we're then going to have the option to give them new orders. Now that is terrible. I don't really want to do that. But what this is showing you is, with those orders received, this is where the brigades are going to line up and form as a division. And if you want to see where each one is going to go, where are they going to go? Again, for some reason, they're going to go over there. They're going to go over there. They're not going to go to the straightest of points. I don't really want to do this. So there are two ways to stop that. One would be go to movement and click halt. All right, we can do that. And you can see that there's now a new set of orders going out for them to halt. Then there's kind of a cheap way to do it, which is you click on the brigade, you right-click on it. Uh-oh. My best laid instructions are being ruined. All right, let's see if we can do this. Maybe we have to do it while we're playing. But they're getting ready to move, and then so without moving it, you just change their facing. You right-click on it, and you change their facing, and they will stop. Again, it's not a move, it's just a facing, so it does it instantaneously, and it will stop their movement. I find that this is particularly useful for cavalry, who have a tendency to get really far away and might be making some mistakes, and we just need to change something that they're doing, and so we do it. I'm going to try to put these guys back into their parapets. Again, if they're aligned like that, they should eventually get there. But that's some of the facing level stuff you can do at the HQ level. What else can you do? Well, orders are going out, so maybe we'll look at other things. I don't think I can actually do this right now. I tried it in a previous battle. It did not work. The actual building of breastworks, I'll have guys that look like they're doing it, but they won't actually do it. So I'm not going to do that here. We see that in addition to the halt order, you can order them to double time. And again, they'll tell you what that does. That's something I should use more. I've started using forced march more in campaign. I think maybe in battle I should start doing that to arrive a little bit quicker. All right, so Rains's Division HQ has told all their guys to halt, and so they may actually not move because I gave them an order to halt, and then I gave them individual orders to move. So they're not facing the right way. Now they're facing a better way. All right, at the HQ, if you really want to take like nothing on, you can just give overall orders. I almost never use this, although I'm thinking about maybe letting the AI do a little bit more. But this is turning on their initiative, which I almost always leave off. I rather micromanage it. That's just my own preference. But if, you just want to say, all right, well, go find the enemy and shoot at them. That would be attack. And what that would mean is that then this HQ would order its brigades, all right, we're going to go find the enemy and we're going to engage in ranged combat. Again, defend. If the enemy comes, shoot at them. Don't run away. Screen. All right, so this, again, some of the stuff would be more interesting if I'd done it, but I don't do it, and I'll just say that I don't do it. Now, at the HQ level, there are some things you can do. You can order kind of general things for your units to do. Again, to charge, well, you can read. that would get the guys ready to go into melee. I think presumably it might also get them into attack column. I'm not sure because I never do this. I really don't ever do this. Okay, those I do use all the time. This I rarely use. These on the left, I almost always, I think probably always, I set everybody to long range. You can do it also just by clicking on the individuals. But while that is going out, if you can see this orange cone for this unit right here, and you see that there's this orange dashed line, what that's telling you is that they will only fire out to that orange dashed line, although they could fire out to that solid one. And the reason why is they're probably set to medium range. And so now they even give you yardages. I did not know that. Wow, 30 yards. That's you shouldn't miss too much there. But you can set their different ranges. Sometimes, if they're set on very long range and the accuracy is poor and the fight's been going on, you might be drained for ammo, and so you're not going to have a very great effect. But my view is I'll risk them running out of ammo, which for most infantry, with most of the rifles we have now, it's not going to happen. Plus, they have a chance to get resupplied at the end of the day. So my view is it's better to expend the ammunition and use it all than try to save it up for close range encounters, right? If you set it to short or medium and your enemy's at long range and they have the same range as you do, your guys are going to be taking casualties on their way in. Why you would decrease it, perhaps you really want the casualties to rack up. I think if you got a jump on an enemy flank and you wanted to rout it, you would say, screw the long range stuff. Let's get in there. Let's make this bloody. If you got 10,000 guys against 3,000, let's, we're confident we can win this at close range, then just plug away and try to get those routes up. If it's at long range and it's inaccurate, the other side may not take casualties fast enough for them to rout. So it depends on the situation. But by default, I'm probably always going to set it to long range and then manually set it to something shorter. But again, I almost never do that. All right. So, and you can also see it'll be this kind of red, bronze. I don't even know what the heck color that is. But that tells you that's what's been activated. The other thing I mentioned I do, let's see, did you guys switch over? You did. Okay. Is I almost always will throw out skirmishers. I think the way this works now is that if that can happen. If your line, if their main line is engaged in a firefight with an enemy they're shooting, I don't think they will create skirmishers. You can click on it, but it won't actually happen. So we kicked out this unit of skirmishers. I believe by default they're usually 200. Notice that they have far less ammunition. Skirmishers used to be quite powerful. They're still not bad. I don't know of any really bad uses for them. They're more likely to rout because their numbers are low. But they're good as a kind of advanced guard to kind of locate and engage the enemy. And you can throw skirmishers out there to engage them in the front and try to send your larger brigades around the flank if you want to gang up on a flank. If you want to recall the skirmishers because you were just using them as feelers, as kind of, a tiny screening force to find the enemy and maybe engage them, maybe not, but you found them and you want them back, all you do is left click on the infantry thing, and you can see that they are coming on back to the parent unit. You also should do that when they start to get low on ammo. Again, with 20 rounds, skirmishers will frequently run out of ammo. It is odd that they seem to run out of ammo. Their 20 shots much faster than the 60 shots that your parent unit will have. What I also noticed is that when they come back to the parent unit, even if they've exhausted all their ammo, the parent unit's ammo is still unchanged. And so you could throw a number of skirmishing groups out and bring them back in with little effect on the overall ammunition, because 200, right? It's 10% of this unit. It's actually slightly less than 10% of this unit, and they only got 20 shots apiece, and so it must not be enough to draw down the overall amount of ammunition. All right, so I think that's okay. This is, I guess, the other thing you can do at the HQ level that you might want to think about. These are orders that are either turned on or off by default. Again, anything that's that kind of darker red is on. So allow initiative to interact to threats while moving as troops. I guess I leave this on most of the time. I didn't notice it, but I probably should turn it off. But it does add a little bit of realism to keep it on, so go ahead. Use roads, and again, if it's going to make it faster, will they do it if feasible? Sometimes they'll take strange paths if they do that, and it might make sense to turn it off. So you would just left click on it to turn it off. Use high ground. Again, that's the default setting. And if there's cover, then they're going to use cover. You can detach. I won't do it here, but I'll show you that I usually detach the cavalry HQ from the HQ, because if I wanted to reform the whole army, and I'm kind of afraid that I might do it, I would do this. I would click on the main army commander, whoever had the most stars. I would right click, and that would give me a new formation for the army. But the cavalry is usually out doing its own thing. So one of the things I'll do in an early stage of a battle is I'll usually click on detach. This will take some time for the order to go through. But this means now when I make formations with the army at large, the cavalry won't be included. If you wanted to do that with your infantry, say you wanted to keep these guys here and not have them part of future infantry formations, you would click on commander stuff, you would click on detach, and they would detach. There is also, I have had almost no luck with this. I would say that I have less than like a 10 or 5% success rate on rallying of troops. But it is what it is. Like these, I had that routing artillery unit. I don't see them anymore. Huh. They were the ones who limbered up, but I think they got lost when we left deployment phase. Again, guys, it's a work in progress. Good work in progress. But that would be that. So now Bagby Jr.'s brigade isn't going to be part of future infantry formations once that order is carried out. So we did AI stance, which, you know, if you don't want to take on too much, you do that. If you want to micromanage it, these are some of the ways you would do it. Again, I really only use the march column and the single line. Infantry, well, you could just order all the brigades to adopt. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. This is the infantry division. We've already done that. We had ordered this already. I'm not sure why it's not going through. Laying down, yeah, exactly what it says. You'll notice that if you order a unit to lay down here, we'll just play it so things actually happen. You probably saw what happened in that cone when I ordered them to lay down. They did it. They are laying prone there, but the range of their shots has decreased, and if I click it off, then they're back up here to shoot this. Sometimes, if there's a big enemy artillery barrage or whatever, and I have guys in a parapet, sometimes I'll also have them lay down in the parapet, and it just makes them really less likely to take casualties because they are laying down behind cover. I think should get pretty awesome cover bonuses, but you're probably then going to be outranged by the enemy. And so while you'll take fewer casualties, you'll probably not do very much of anything back to them. I'm wondering a way around this might be to have skirmishers do this more often. Again, if you want your skirmishers to be a kind of sticky force that is holding larger brigades from shifting their formation because they take them under fire, just have the skirmishers get close but then lay prone, so they might be able to shoot, but the point is their rate of taking casualties will have slowed. I think that's going to be it. I actually, again, do intend to play this battle, but as I normally would, I'm going to create some skirmishers in all of these units. Again, I usually use them as just the advanced force kind of stuff I don't know if you're supposed to do, but I do it anyways. I see really no harm in it. They're not as powerful as they used to be, and when they rout, if you leave them out there and they get shot up, I think also when they run out of ammo now, they might just start to normally go back to the parent unit. Yeah, they'll rejoin, and it'll then be their problems. So again, these guys are kicking out skirmishers as well. One thing, I guess this would be the only last thing, is that fences and creek beds can be garrisoned by infantry, and it gives them cover. And you'll know it because when you right-click and press against it, parallel to it, you'll notice how the line kind of curves with the shape of the body of water. You move them there, and you can kind of choose how they move. I usually always just click advance. Sometimes if I'm trying to push people through, I'll order them to charge, but not really. I don't do this. I mean, if you're really interested in having your guys move together, I just kind of move them at about the same time. And then do that to make sure that they actually do it. Everybody's pretty responsive because they're close to their commanders. So that, I think, is going to do it for infantry basics. Again, what we actually do in battle will be its own separate video, but those are kind of what you want to know. All right, folks, I'll have another one. I think the next one's going to be on cavalry, and that will also help us move this battle forward.